Chapter 5. The Great Inventor. In November 2011, visitors played with big wood and metal models in a shopping center in Adana, Turkey. They turned and moved things, took photos, and read about the life of Leonardo. The 34 models were made from Leonardo's drawings, and they showed machines for building things, studying the weather, flying, and even walking on water. In Leonardo's time, people used machines to do things like move water or heavy stones. He learned to use and mend machines when he was an apprentice in Verrocchio's workshop. Leonardo studied these machines carefully and thought about different ways to use their parts. Leonardo invented new machine parts and drew plans for many new inventions. He designed terrible guns, and machines that could cut wood, or make paint or books. He also invented musical instruments. Leonardo made one instrument from silver. It sounded beautiful and it looked like a horse's head. Some of Leonardo's most famous inventions are his robots. They worked like the parts in a clock. They could move around a room for a short time without any help. Leonardo built different robots to entertain people at parties. One robot was like a car with 3 wheels. Once he built a robot soldier. It looked like a real person, and it could walk, move its arms, legs, and head, and open and close its mouth. Hundreds of years later, robot engineers in America have learned from Leonardo's robot designs. The drawings have helped them to build robots that look and move like people. In 1485, Leonardo designed a parachute, but it was 515 years before anyone tried his design. In 2000, a British man called Adrian Nicholas made a jump with a parachute that used Leonardo's design and materials from his time. And in 2008, Olivier Vietti from Switzerland made a jump of about 600 meters with a parachute that used Leonardo's design but modern materials. Both parachutes worked. When Leonardo was in his 50s, he thought about his early life and wrote about it. What did he remember first? It was not his mother or father, it was a bird. When he was a baby, the bird flew down to him, and he never forgot it. Leonardo loved birds. He often bought birds from people in markets, but he did not keep them. He paid the money and took the birds. Then he opened his hands, and the birds flew away free. For years, Leonardo studied how birds fly. He dreamed of flying for most of his life, and he drew lots of different flying machines. One drawing shows a machine with turning wings. Leonardo's machine could not work, but nearly 400 years later, a young Russian boy called Igor Sikorsky saw the drawing. He was a dreamer too. After years of trying, in 1939, Sikorsky built and flew a helicopter, the Versus 300. 4 years later, his factory was the first in the world to make helicopters. Another drawing shows an ornithopter, a flying machine with wings that moved up and down like a bird. A pilot used his arms and legs to move the wings. In Leonardo's time, it was not possible to build this machine because the materials were too heavy. Finally, in 2010, students in Canada built and flew an ornithopter. It was made of very light materials, and the pilot moved the wings up and down with his legs. In about 1505, Leonardo studied the wind on a hill near Florence, and he also wrote about flying from there. So the big question is, did he ever try to fly? At the time, Leonardo and Michelangelo were planning their pictures for the Great Battle. Both men wanted to show that they were the best. Was Leonardo planning to fly and show the world that he was cleverer than Michelangelo? 30 years after Leonardo died, a man called Girolamo Cardano wrote about how Leonardo tried to fly, but could not. Cardano's father was Leonardo's friend, so was it true? There is nothing about it in Leonardo's writing, so we do not know the answer, but we can imagine it. We can see him on a hill near Florence on a hot summer day in 1505. He is standing and looking at the fields below, with his long hair moving in the wind. He puts on his wings. What is he feeling? He has dreamed of flying all his life, and now it is time to try. He could die, but he has to know the answer. He runs into the wind as fast as he can.